He's just blowing us up everywhere. He's excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
He always gets excited.
It's okay. I kept blowing us up. I even posted it on my Facebook this last
Woo,
time.
woo.
It's okay. I kept blowing us up. Yeah. I'm trying to get used to the fact that I can do that. Guys, come watch us.
Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to East of Anime, a podcast where we talk about, surprisingly enough, anime. I'm the Big Bad Moon. I'm one of your hosts. Right over here on the right is Hal3D. She's one of your other hosts. And just below me is Panda. She is one of your other hosts. Hey, how you guys doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Same.
It's snowing. I'm loving the snow.
I am.
Send more snow.
It's not snowing, but it's incredibly cold over here, and my apartment's very cold.
It is not snowing, but it is below 70 or 45 degrees over
Pretty
here.
chilly. It's
Yeah.
pretty chilly for some reason.
Pretty chilly.
But Panda, how are you doing today? How's your life going? How's your stuff going? What's been happening?
Things are going good. Work's been crazy. But other than that, doing great. Yeah, nothing new going on. School. Japanese is Japanese.
That is a true statement. Helen, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I've been working on a project, a writing movement piece for a theater company, and I finished it.
Oh, nice.
And so we're just polishing it, and so we're going to start rehearsals in March, so I'm really excited.
Oh, nice. That's fabulous.
Good
Rehearsal's fun. That's good times. Do I sound...
We start filming in April.
Oh, do you know?
So we got like a whole timeline going on.
My God, I think
Pretty fun.
my voice isn't echoey today. That's lovely.
Oh, you sound good. You sound real good.
Well,
Oh,
we
you
all
sound-
At least in the ear.
You sound good, girl.
You sound Well, again, we're on his Discord, so a little bit different.
That is true. I rigged this up in a fantastical way. So hey, welcome guys. Today we're gonna be talking about a show that I'm gonna probably not be able to pronounce a bunch of times. Fushigi Yugi.
Fushigi Yugi.
Fushigi Yugi.
Mysterious play.
Aha,
That's what it
yes.
I love that play on words, by the way.
I know, it's beautiful. It's such a great job.
It makes like my heart sing.
Oh, it doesn't now.
Yes, because it's like the play, the mysterious play.
So,
Acting and
so Panda, you watched this way back in the day. This was one of your favorites. Is that right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the day. Yep. It is
definitely
one of my
gave me
favorites.
those old vibes.
For sure. Nostalgia, though, for sure.
So, as to start off, why don't you explain what is happening in Fushigi Yugi, the anime?
Okay.
Just the anime. I don't know if the manga is different or anything, but go ahead and
Right.
shoot. What's the show about? What happens?
It's about a 14-year-old girl who's like getting ready to go into high school, and then like her life's about to change, and her mom is trying to pressure her into doing like getting to like a elite high school in Japan. And she's like, well, I just want to be a kid. I don't want to do this. And she's obsessed with food, which I just love about her anyways. But then for some reason she ends up getting trapped in a book called
I hate it when that happens.
wait when that happens. I got this. My brain just died. Wow, I don't remember the book at the moment. Anyways, it's an old book about old China with 4 realms, and she has to become someone has to become the priestess of the 4 realms and to save the realms. And then her and her friend end up getting stuck in this book, and then they become rivals, and then they work out through problems. There's romance, there's love triangles, there's drama, and they just have to try to find the celestial warriors.
There are
There's
very
7
pretty
for
men
each.
in there.
Oh yes, very pretty men. Celestial warriors. There's 7 for each for each realm that they have to go find to summon. And then if they summon the celestial being, they get wishes.
Mhm.
And so what we watch is the struggles and drama about trying to find these celestial warriors and just what goes on through it.
Sure. All right, interesting.
All the
So,
drama.
thank you for that, Panda. Hallen, do you have anything to add to that? Actually, let me rephrase that. Or not rephrase it, but change the question. So, Hallen, that is what the show is about, ostensibly. What happens in the show, over the course of the show?
So over the course of the show, so at the very beginning, I watched the first episode like a few times because I felt like I didn't get all of it the first time around. I really liked so I have a question for Panda. So they talk about like, they didn't say Subaru, but they talk about like the 7 and the 7 sisters, and like that's like the stars. Like Subaru is like the 7 stars, and there's 7 warriors. Is there any correlation there?
You mean Suzaku, not Subaru?
Oh, Suzaku, yeah.
Or you mean like 2 Subaru, like the 5-star constellation?
I thought it was 7.
Tomato,
Well,
you know.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't know. Well, I thought there was like
it was 7, but
some-
like never mind. In the car, they messed up. Sorry.
Oh, in the
know
car they did.
Yeah, there's like 2 little ones that are missing in the car. Anyways, Suzaku. I mean, it could be part of it, but like again, this is like them translating it from the Chinese original text.
Wait, was this originally a Chinese manhwa?
No, not
No.
So the book that they're stuck in is originally a Chinese story.
Okay.
The 4 realms are in China.
Okay, I was very confused for
Yeah.
a second. So
Ancient China, so...
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't ancient China.
Yes. So, so that was, like... If you actually get into the story more, like, it'll tell you more about it. But as I said, we only got through the first part of it.
Yeah.
Of the first big, major...
Can I real quick? Can we talk about for just a second how ancient China is such an underutilized setting for stories, because it's really interesting and weird, and there's like warring kingdoms like everywhere, and there are walls everywhere. Random aside, not random, it's directed aside. The show, it's on I think it's on Netflix. It's a zombie show that takes place in ancient China.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that? What is that called? I can't remember. It's like the
like TV show?
It's a TV show. It's a live action television show. It's a zombie outbreak in ancient China. All of the different like kingdoms are separated by giant walls. It's crazy. It was really cool.
I know,
really
like
fun.
look this up. Let us know.
The zombies, the zombies only come out at night. Because of like the way they were created, there's like a flower that only blooms at night. Kingdom. It's just called Kingdom.
Kingdom. Okay.
That was charming. If you want a fresh twist and you still are not
heard of Kingdom. Yes.
If you're not sick of zombies,
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailer.
If you're not sick of zombies after 30 years of zombies, then go watch Kingdom because it's really cool. But yeah, feudal China, ancient China, really interesting setting. And I don't feel like we see enough stuff in that setting because I feel like there's a lot of possibility.
Yeah, I think they did really good on this one too, because like as you said, like feuding areas, walls, like checkpoints,
right. And that's kind of one of the shticks, is that this whole thing is because of, or not necessarily because, but it has a big theme of their different kingdoms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's like their areas 4 different kingdoms, and they're all feuding each other.
Right. Yeah.
And or corresponding or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like feudal Japan, but bigger.
Indeed. I think it's great. I think it's like not like a history lesson, but like it just definitely brings you to the back. And like
it's not a history lesson? Anime's not real? What?
I mean, in some people's minds.
That's fair. This depending is a semantic issue, I suppose.
Trauma said lies.
Lies. It's true.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
But okay, so Fushigi Yuugi, feudal Japan. Is it feudal? Would you call it feudal Japan? I guess feudal Japan. What is feudal? What does the word feudal mean? Anyways, basically,
you're using big words. My brain.
Feudal? I didn't think feudal was that big a word, but They're watching anime, so maybe the bar's kind of high. The bar's kind of low. Was that self-deprecating?
Don't worry. It's definitely a shoujo anime, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so Fushigi Yugi, feudal Japan, interesting show. I think I lost what I was going to say. Helen, do you have any comments? Let's talk about the opening, the music. What do you think of the music? Is there anything stands out? Doesn't stand out?
What I liked about it, so I thought it was really cool. Yeah, and like it brushed on that time, like the Sailor Moon, like
totally.
But at the same time, I thought it was very unique, and I love it for what time it was born in.
I will say the opening credits go way too long.
Okay.
Like I
get that.
They went for a long time where I was like looking at the time bar and I was going, wow, they still going? Dang. I don't know. Maybe that was a product they were kind of mellow. They were very mellow.
Them at some points.
I tried to watch them once, and I got like 75% of the way through, and I was like, I don't have 4 more minutes to watch the credits. This is crazy.
The beginning ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, the opening.
And then here's me singing every single time, so you know.
Oh, dear God.
I believe it.
Yeah, but the music was not bad. Again, it's very old school. This is a very old school style. What was this? 2001 or something like that? 2005. Okay, so it's 2005, made in the style.
No, 1995.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Never mind.
I was gonna say.
I was like, wait, what?
I was gonna say if it was 2000,
Definitely
it was
95.
made 2005, made in the style of 1995. So right on.
Indeed,
It was for 1995.
1995.
The art was interesting. I actually like a lot of aspects of the art. There were actually a lot of things in the first episode that I thought were really interesting. Probably because it was a pilot, and probably because they were cutting a lot of corners with the budget. But you know,
I noticed that too.
which I thought was interesting.
Somehow.
Yeah, I actually think that's cool. You know, as long as the art is good, I think that's really interesting. I would actually love to see, like, maybe not, I don't know, an entire anime. I've always wanted to see an animated thing that is made up of still frames, like they do when they like are cutting budget and they want to have people walking, you know, but you just have to have so many still frames per 30 seconds of the show, you know, maybe, I don't know, 15 still frames per 30 seconds, something like that. And so you can get a lot more detail in, but it's like you're seeing snapshots of the show and the dialogue and the music is going and all that. I think that'd be really interesting. I think that'd be a very interesting way to watch a show. But I don't know, never seen it.
I like that idea. That sounds so cool. Like, it sounds like it could be a really neat process.
Right, yeah.
That would be interesting.
You know, and it cut down the budget.
Yeah, exactly.
You cut down the number of frames by like 1 billion.
And more story. I mean,
I liked the watercolor that they did in the still frames. That was really pretty.
Oh, sure.
Like, that was a really neat aspect of it.
Yeah. Watercolor's the best thing for coloring. Digital color is overrated. No, it's not. It's great, but watercolor is very underrated. Watercolor's awesome.
it is for sure. It's one of my favorite mediums for sure.
Well, so how do you guys feel about the story of Fushigi Yugi? Now, obviously, we went over like what happens in the story, and it's about like the main like conflict of the show, or the characters kind of having personal struggles with each other, and who's romantically interested in who, and you know, that kind of thing. What do you think of the act, like the story of Fushigi Yugi?
I feel like I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed that because it was kind of a reminder of my youth.
Okay, yeah,
if that makes sense. It was kind of like, oh yeah, because you don't know where you space.
Sure,
your head's like, well, I don't know. I kind of have a crush on that person.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. So it was very youthful in that way, and I thought that resonated even in today's time.
That's
so
fair.
I thought that was cool. I liked that aspect. What I didn't, sometimes I felt like the story was a little. I'm like, okay, can we get to the point? Totally. One of my favorite episodes was the freaking mirror episode. Oh my gosh, when she stabs herself, I was like, I guess you would.
Do you okay? do you feel like? Do you feel like this? Like we've talked about before. something like Sailor Moon has a whole bunch of episodes that are entirely filler and that really don't have any bearing on the main story, and you could literally watch like a quarter of the episodes and get the whole story out of that. Because there's a ton of filler episodes. Do you feel like maybe there was some of that going on here, where a lot of the episodes were maybe, character building, or maybe,
just
something
felt like
fun,
some
but
of
they
the
didn't actually
action-
do anything for the overarching story? Because this is a thing that happens a lot in the 90s. A lot of shows were like, here's all the important episodes, and then we're going to just mix them in with like twice, 3 times, 4 times as many. What? Dragon Ball Z? Oh, yeah. I told you. That's like that's
Dragon Ball Z.
people punched each
Naruto.
other. I never saw Naruto.
I couldn't get
Actually.
through Naruto. I could not do it. Couldn't do it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Dragon Ball Z, I watched all of the
Well,
like
okay.
all of them.
So I got through Dragon Ball Z.
Every
But
upgrade.
I got through Dragon Ball Z because I was like 10 though, and I was like, "This, oh my god, things are exploding and it's awesome." So if I had, which is weird because you'd expect that to be the time you didn't have an attention span. I guess we're easily entertained at younger ages.
yes, for sure.
I mean, my kids are, so yeah.
I mean, I think we all were at one point.
That's
Exactly.
But yeah. So I thought that was probably my biggest criticism. Was, oh my god, there was a lot of filler and it felt like it dragged. I like fast paced, or not fast paced. I like, because this is a frustrating thing, because I don't want to say thrillers, because I don't want to mislead anybody. So
Right.
when you write something that is story oriented, that every scene is like driven by character motivation, the scenes are not boring because the thing that's going on in the scene is usually important to the main story. Because if it's not, it gets cut. That makes for like what you would call a page turner. Now I'm of course referring to books when I say that, but this is the same thing for movies or TV shows or whatever. Every single scene should have a very specific purpose that's focused on the story. What the actual story is, and that the story of course should involve like what the characters' motivations are, and what they're trying to accomplish. So nothing is ever boring if you only have the stuff that is absolutely necessary, because that's what you want in the story. You don't want anything that's not necessary. It's the that's the fatty stuff you cut off, and that's the thing that happened to a lot of like anime cartoons in the 90s. Because they had to run so many episodes, they had to run over a whole season, and so they just had to like make up stuff. And maybe the story was not like supportive of like a bigger plot, or a more in-depth plot, or maybe it would have if they'd only had like 10 episodes. And that's one of the things that's kind of sad these days about a lot of shows is you'll have like something that has like 9 episodes or 10 episodes and it's over, and I'm like, damn, I wish there was more. But it's like they had those episodes because that's how long it took to do it. They even might have added a couple filler episodes to make it, more than like 5 episodes. So I appreciate short things. Long things, the longer you drag something out, the more it tends to degrade. We saw it with Game of Thrones. We saw it with a lot of stuff. The X-Files.
That's
Supernatural.
so true. Oh God.
Supernatural. I stopped after
It's like
like forever ago.
let the story be told, and then you're done.
Let it be.
Let it be. Just stop. Like once
Well,
upon
and
a
they
time.
said they were
too.
like done with it, and then they kept going for like 4.
Oh sure.
Why?
Because
you said you were done.
They're making money. That's it. That's the sad.
What I was gonna say is, in like the acting world and like performing world, we're told when we get a script to what is the action, what is the motivation, and keeping it that alive is like you have to have that subcontext. You have to have things percolating. And if there's silence, have a reason for the silence. If there's a lull, there should be a reason that there's a lull. Like it should have a purpose. And sometimes I felt like there was no purpose to that in this show.
Sure.
A lot,
Right.
actually.
Oh, yeah.
And so sometimes I was like, oh, okay, can I don't want to skip, but like, can we get to it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Well, the crazy thing, if we're gonna, I'll be the person that combines them for both manga and
Perfect.
anime.
I love it.
But everything that was in the anime was in the manga.
Oh, was it?
Okay. That's cool.
There's some differences, and there's a couple things that were a little bit different.
Sure.
But mostly everything was in it.
Nice.
Impressive.
Yeah. And then
That's
I was
always
like
awesome when
looking
you do
through
that.
my manga earlier, and it's like literally the only first 5 of all the episodes that we watched was literally the first 5 manga.
Dang, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a thing they can, you can do it in any kind of media.
Right.
Yeah, that was something that I loved about, what was it? Oh, the one we quote relatively often, Made in Abyss.
Oh, yeah.
So have you read? Have you seen Made in Abyss, Panda?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Oh man,
you guys keep talking about it. It's on my list.
That's one of my favorite. It was the best one of the year for me. I think Made in Abyss was the best one of the year.
I agree.
Well, I watched your Best of Anime episode recently.
Oh, did you? What did you think? That was
I liked it.
That was a goofy episode. That was goofy.
I literally wrote everything down. Everything. I'm like, okay, take notes. Got it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, because it's one of those things where you can't really like make a best of, or it's really hard to make best of, because when you say like best of, if you're talking about genre, is Made in Abyss in the same genre as Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba?
I don't think so.
I don't think they are. Or is what's the
it's
genre?
dark.
How do you break down the subgenres? Like, how many genres do you need?
Well, like anything, for anime for sure, because like even when you like look up mangas, you have like multiple like keys to find like one type of manga that you always watch or read.
Right.
Same with anime, like of course. But like, because you could just choose a movie and it's mostly like kind of semi in the same category.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think anime is definitely categorized differently a little bit.
Well, yeah, and there's so many categories. Now there's some basic like big genres, like what is the new world, or what is it called? Isekai, yeah, isekai. Like you could do isekai.
Did I say it wrong?
Well, wait, one more time.
Yeah,
is it isekai?
Isekai? Oh, I think it's isekai, isn't it?
Isekai? Okay. I wasn't sure.
Should be a translator. That'd be great. Don't try with me. Just whatever I say, just be like, yeah, that was perfect. Good.
Nope. I'm going to fix you. Don't worry. I'll always repeat it so the people can hear it the correct way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, totally. That's perfect. I love it. Well, we're going to be getting a lot of fixing then. But that there's like one of the issues is, there's so many isekai out there, because there's like a million of them. Although I would say that generally speaking, if you were alive last year, then you realize the best isekai was oh god, I forgot that. It escapes me as soon as I need to think of it. You know what I'm talking about. Say what?
Which one?
With Rem and Super.
Yes.
Yeah.
ReZero.
Thank you. Yeah. ReZero is the best anime because
Still got me on my freaking toes. That is so good.
I found a TikTok on that recently. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to watch this one too still.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my god.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
Sorry,
that one
we're always good at this game.
Keeping me.
You derailed the conversation?
I think so. Did I? I don't know. I'm confused. What were you talking about? ReZero. ReZero was really good.
It was great. It was a fabulous show.
I have ADD brain today. Come on.
Where were we? Okay.
Well, so why don't we jump back into Fushigi Yuugi? Okay. After our brief tangent off to the side, what did you think of the animation? Obviously, it's a little bit like old school. A little bit. What should
Dated.
Would you say dated or old school? Because I would actually probably say dated.
Old school. Well, it's technically old school though.
Well, that's true. I don't know. Yeah, that's because what was this? What was the sci-fi one from a while back where there's like the Mew and you know what I'm talking about?
What?
That you know the sci-fi anime we did a while back.
Which one?
Did I do that? Did we do that, or did I watch that with?
We saw the original one. They watched.
Oh,
yeah.
I gotcha.
Where
Okay.
we watched different ones. That was right.
Yes.
That was funny. So
Which one? Which anime?
what was it called?
I don't remember.
Oh my
I'm
god,
sorry.
it's such a terrible name day. I don't even know what to say. Anyways, it was old. It was sci-fi. It reminded me of the like science fiction novels from like the 50s and 60s, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. It's
And its art style very much like reflected that. This felt, I mean, it was kind of old in the same way, but I don't know. I guess maybe there was no nostalgia in it for me because it didn't like evoke any like old science fiction that I loved. I've read a lot of back in the day. So maybe that was it. Maybe that's why it makes me feel like it's like dated instead of
Dated.
like classic.
I guess, yeah. I can see that. I'm just trying to think. Like, dated or old school, like, how I would... Like, because around the time, I think, also I was, like, really into Doctor Who, but, like, if you rewatch, like, this ninth Doctor again, it feels dated.
Sure.
But it's also, like...
I loved the Ninth Doctor.
I know. It's good. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but, like, you can feel that it was made in 2005.
Yeah.
These are the kind of, like, wonderful semantic arguments that really make this conversation worth it.
So, like, you could feel
dated
that
versus old school.
Right? It's like... Because old school, like, you can try to make things old school and, like, in nowadays things, but I think this one's just more dated.
Yeah, that's fair.
This is more dated.
That is
because if they remake it, they can make it in an old school style.
Oh man, if they remade it, they could make it in an old style. They would have to cut a lot of stuff out. Because a modern audience, I don't think kids would be into it.
Get it. Yeah.
I don't feel that. I don't think adults would get into it. So they'd have to do some major rewrites. And maybe that's the thing, because this is a thing where this is actually kind of an interesting conversation about how writing and like people's writing, the craft of writing has actually evolved and progressed quite a lot over the last like 200 years. And I mean that so I read a novel a couple of years ago called The Moonstone or something like that. And it was one of the old novels. It was a Victorian novel that had kind of helped inspire Sherlock Holmes. It was, I think a lot of people cite it as the first like modern mystery novel. And oh my God, it was awful. It was horrible. It was so, like Victorian times are known for like their pomp and like extravagance and their like, like it was that, and it was awful. It was a horrible novel. And they've come a long way. If you read now, there's some classics, the Three Musketeers and, stuff that, even when you talk about stuff like Sherlock Holmes, for the time, revolutionary and amazing. A lot of, I love those. They're great books. Today, like if you read the Sherlock Holmes books, God, they're kind of slow and the dialogue can be a little bit weird. And after like the 19th time that Sherlock Holmes like guesses where Watson came from that particular morning,
so many freaking times.
Right? Yeah. Well, no, and so like every single time they say like their names.
I could bring that back.
They say Sherlock Holmes, like I have him.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, they say his name over and over again.
So me and my SO was having this conversation earlier about Fushigi Yuugi about it, because like it also brings me back to like Inuyasha, like how many times do they say their names? Like Tamahome, Miyaka,
Miyaka.
Tamahome. Like, oh, I should have tallied them, like the amount of times in 24
like
episodes.
A little counter.
He's like, you could go back and do that. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch all of them today. so okay. Like, yeah.
So that's interesting though, because actually, maybe, and I think maybe what I was saying is actually not a very good way to categorize it as writing kind of progressing, because maybe it just has to do with the temperament of people of the day, because like we in the 21st century, we have the internet, and we can order falafel, like that, and it's easy. We everything's kind of quick, and so. Maybe some of the newer shows, the pace is a little faster. Everything's a little more direct. There is less, unnecessary information, so that we can keep moving. Because that's I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say our attention spans, but kind of, sort of.
I think I talked about this last episode, was that like I have trouble getting into newer animes because they're very quick paced.
Oh, sure. Totally.
And like there's some of them that do really well and, like, as you said, cut down the episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Or they need to be, but like same time, but if they're quick paced, then I can't get into them because I need all of the background.
Sure.
Excuse me. I need everything.
I like the way you said that because, like, I feel like sometimes if it's too quick paced, you feel like you're just gonna miss it, and like you can't just have it on. So like it can't be on a background. You have to like be watching it, and that can be like really frustrating if you're like, oh crap, now I have to go rewind it because I stepped away for 2 seconds.
Like we need an even balance.
No, totally.
Quick paced and perfectly storied.
Well, okay, so that's interesting because maybe there is like a nice like perfect or not perfect, but like a really good balance where it is, moving fast enough and there's enough going on, and we're driven by the character motivations, and enough's going on that you're not gonna stop watching and just be like, wow, this is way too fast. Something like, and maybe that's where like the classic. Like Cowboy Bebop falls in, because Cowboy Bebop is paced really well. It's not super fast. It's not super slow. Also, so I'll finish this sentence. So Cowboy Bebop is something that most people, as long as they like the tone, the only thing I think I've ever heard where someone ends up not liking Cowboy Bebop is just because they don't like the like tone, there's too much saxophone, which I don't think is a thing. It's a little bit too like detective-y, or they don't like science fiction or something like that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. It's crazy kids. Flat
crazy
earthers.
Kids. Good. Thank you. Those crazy chickens.
But so maybe like it, and also so to also clarify that when I say it has like just the right pacing. I would say that I think that is a kind of a writing misnomer, because I actually don't think pacing is a phrase that people that are not writers use, because
we use it in acting.
Yeah, exactly. So pacing is, if someone watches your show or watches your thing or reads your book or whatever and say the pacing was like it was too fast or the pacing was too slow, they just mean there's a structural problem with your writing somewhere, because it doesn't fit together and well enough. It doesn't
flow right.
Yeah. So pacing is like pacing is like the layman term for something was wrong and I'm not sure what, but it didn't quite fit together well. So Cowboy Bebop, really well written. And so it feels very, very well paced. But it's an older one, not incredibly old, but it's older. I can't imagine that it's going to feel bad in the future though. Just like, I mean, if you're, I'm quoting all of the not anime shows right now, but like The Thing, the 1980s, 1984, The Thing.
Oh yeah.
That's a great movie. And it's structured perfectly.
I love how claustrophobic it is.
Yeah,
right.
One of the two best horror movies ever made. And you can guess about the other one. You probably know. I've probably mentioned it a bunch of times. But great movie. I don't think you will in 50 years. I don't think you'll watch The Thing and be like, the pacing was weird, or it was kind of, because it's just like put together really well. So maybe there's a sweet spot that like lands, and gives it some longevity. So I don't know. Okay.
That's fair. I like that point that you brought up, especially because like this one, like you were talking about, is it a classic or is it kind of old?
Right. It's kind of,
when you're talking about that, I feel like this seems a little more like old school in like the thought process. If that makes sense.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Like it didn't age well in that term.
Sure. Yeah. No. Totally. But no, totally the thought process. And actually, I would say that in that way, it is kind of like that science fiction one that we were talking about earlier that I will not remember.
Towards the Terra.
Towards the Terra. Thank you. That was good. They have a very similar, like, there's something about the way that they, think about what's going on in the universe that is kind of distinctly old school. In the same, like in Towards the Terra, weird anime. There is a race of psychic people called the Mu. Is it MEU? The Mu, and they're psychic, and so they send psychic communications across the galaxy. And there's something about like the idea of how you communicate across the galaxy with psychic emanations. That's weird and old school, and that's not a thing that you'd put in a modern science fiction story because it's weird and silly almost. But like it's
age well. Like
that particular show didn't age well. Well, the one I watched, that. I don't know. Or do you mean Fushigi Yuugi?
No, I was talking about the Towards the Terra.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was kind of weird. I think if I recall, I liked a lot of the like concepts in it. A lot of the like, because again, it was kind of old school in the way that they constructed the universe. A little bit of 1984, a little bit of like psychic stuff. It's kind of fun, but yeah, I don't remember liking it.
Right.
Not that that's tremendously uncommon.
So I noticed this in like, we talk about Shakespeare, we talk about writers.
Oh, sure.
Plays. And the ones that age well have a common theme that resonates about humanity. And I feel like the ones that don't are like, it doesn't have that attachment. Does that make sense?
Right. So you're talking about like putting some kind of deeper meaning or implied meaning or something like that into what they're writing?
More specific meaning, like an easy theme. Like I think that's where the sweet spot is that it can translate across decades. It makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then that's very human, and I love that. I feel like when we start touching on other topics and like we're thinking, I feel like there's some thinking that happens in some of the ones that feel wonky, that they put too much detail and don't leave enough to us, the viewer. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that kind of takes away from some of the shows.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know if I said that right, but that's. I think I'm touching on.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. That's a hard thing to kind of quantify, like what exactly that is.
I feel like I know what it is, but it's like,
or maybe it's just hard to articulate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said Shakespeare, and I just thought of like Romeo and Juliet and all the adaptations that they came up with it. So.
Oh, for sure.
And it keeps going.
It's everywhere. Like, mom doesn't agree with boy. Like, family doesn't. Yeah. So that's in a lot of stories for sure.
But there's a word. It's like, I don't know. There's like something about that idea that can be old and annoying, but it can also, if done right, makes it feel good, and it ages. Like I feel like Cowboy Bebop ages well. Yes. Outlaw Star, I haven't watched that one. I think that one aged well.
I haven't seen. Okay, I loved that show when I was younger, and I haven't watched it recently. I watched, I think several years ago, I think 3 or 4 years ago, I watched the first like 3 episodes. And in the first 3 episodes, something I saw was like, holy crap, Firefly just like completely stole this scene from Outlaw Star. What? Like shot for shot. What the hell? Anyways, go watch the first like 3 episodes of Outlaw Star, and then go watch the first like 2 episodes of Firefly, and you'll be like, what? No.
Oh my gosh. No.
Anyway.
Yes, but no. But yeah. Like I just like.
It was a weird.
Blowing my mind right now.
It was a weird scenario.
Thank you. I hate that. That's okay. I could do that with movies too, though.
Yeah. Anyways, do we have a Fushigi Yugi? Do we have a best girl in Fushigi Yugi? I don't know if we do. Okay, Panda, go ahead. Best girl.
Sorry, there's a table. Oh my god. Best girl, I think, was Tamahome.
And that was the guy with the ogre?
Yes. The
Ha!
main dude.
That was entirely a guess, 100%. But that's that's kind of who I figured you'd say.
Great job.
I knew that was what his name was.
Yeah.
Of course
Who
I
was
did.
the purple-haired person?
Purple-haired person? Oh, Noriko?
Nariko. Nariko's
Yeah,
mean.
I think I could probably get behind that. Mandy, do you have a best girl? You said the purple hair lady?
Well,
Man.
yeah, it's
Person.
not a lady.
Whatever.
Person.
I kind of like the Your Highness guy.
Oh, Hotohori? Hori?
Yeah, Hotori.
Hotohori. I know.
Who would you recommend this show to then? And who would you recommend the show? And we'll do you first, Panda. Who would you recommend the show? And how would you pitch it? And would you give them any caveats?
Apparently, I pitched it very badly last because you're like,
Well, I was pretty skeptical based on the premise and based on the fact that it was from the early '90s. So,
hey, come on. I mean,
schoolgirls, early '90s.
I guess people my age, with girls who love fantasy stories.
If I was a squirrel girl in the early '90s, I would have loved it.
I bet you would have, if you were a schoolgirl in the early '90s.
No. So that's purely on the premise. If you'd have told me it was a true crime, I'd have been like, well, are you sure we should? So
Not a true crime. Sorry.
no. Well, so who would you recommend it to? If you were recommending it to people, and would you recommend it to people?
I do still. Like, I tell people.
Clearly, you do.
Obviously. I think schoolgirls, just in general, like, I know nowadays age is, like, really hard, but I'm like, man, they have the same struggles you do right now. Like,
Sure.
Thinking back on it, I'm like, man, I went through this. Like, gosh. I, like, backtracked, like, I did that. And then I used to work with kids, so, like, I can still see, like, how it can still, like, work with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still that way about food.
Me too. Oh my God.
I'm like, oh,
Like, it's not a
Good
bad thing.
food.
About food, guys. It's not a bad thing.
That I can absolutely relate to that though. Being obsessed with food. I didn't eat very much today, so I'm very hungry right now.
Yeah.
I'll eat tomorrow.
I would recommend it to anybody who liked anime back in the 90s, who because one of my best friends, she loves Sailor Moon,
Sure.
loves it. I love it, but she loves it. And I totally recommend that to her.
Funny random side story. I used to work at a bookstore. In the bookstore, we had a bunch of comics and manga, and we also had a bunch of figurines and stuff. And there was this young lady, in her early 20s, and a mom who would come in all the time, and we called them Sailor Moon. We called the little girl Sailor Moon, or she was 20. But we called the girl Sailor Moon because every time they came in, they'd have a little wheelie backpack, and they would steal Sailor Moon comics and figurines. And we could never catch them, and they never set off the alarms, but they would steal it. And so, I'd be out on the headset. They'd be like, "Uh-oh, Sailor Moon's here. Everybody watch out."
Oh, no.
And the first time I heard it, I was like, "What? What?" But anyways,
I feel that.
random aside, fun fact. That was a fun job, though.
I used to be not the stealing part, but I used to hang out in a bookstore and just read for hours. Manga, specifically.
That's fair.
I worked at a bookstore, and I got so many books for cheap. It was so nice.
Yeah, that was the one.
I
wish.
miss days.
Man, that was
I love the smell of books.
Back when I worked at the bookstore, I was looking at it, and I think what was I think I had 6 months had gone by. It was the first of the year, and it was 6 months into the year, and I had by 6 months I had read 30 books in 6 months, and I was looking back on it going, how did I read 30 books in 6 months?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
I wish.
But you work at a bookstore, you just end up reading a lot of books because you get recommended books all the time. Read books on your break. You go home and you're like, I'll read this for a little bit. And it was a thing where I was just like, the math doesn't make sense. How do you do that? Is there time? I guess so. Anyways, random aside.
I get on myself about that because I'm like, I should read. I've read tons of plays. I've read tons of books. Where did that go?
Right?
How do I do that?
Priorities just change. So
Yeah.
honestly,
Would you say so we were talking about best girl stuff. Would you say Tomohoma is waifu? No.
Hotohori's waifu.
Oh dear.
Or is waifu. Okay. I can see that. Okay.
That's why I chose best girl as Tomohome.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Oh yeah,
I'm good with that.
Hotohori's definitely waifu.
Okay. So, Fushigi Yuugi. Fushigi Yuugi?
You know what? You literally sound like my mother every single time I talk about it. Really
What is that?
Just tries.
What's that show you're watching?
What are you doing again?
Fushigi Yuugi.
Show. Like this, Mama.
Oh, okay.
Fushigi
So,
Yuugi.
final thoughts. Fushigi Yuugi.
Troy's giggling back here.
Final thoughts, Helen.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Well, I mean, there were times where I was but otherwise I really liked it.
Panda, revisiting this particular show that I will not pronounce. What did you think? Thoughts? Final thoughts.
Just kidding. Again, it was good reminiscent, but I really like it still. Like I can't wait to continue. I just kind of want to continue to watch it now.
Oh, nice.
Well, I did tell you that the only different thing that I did this time was I watched it in Japanese with English subtitles.
Oh, nice.
It was the first time I've ever done that.
Oh, okay.
And the Japanese is easy, so I understood. I was saying.
Oh my God,
like
they spoke.
of the time.
So I watched the dub.
Okay. Assumed. I used to.
They spoke so slowly.
Oh, really?
They were like speaking in slow motion the entire show. It was crazy.
Oof.
Anyways, that was my
I
rating.
couldn't remember. No, that's good. But I said like I did something different just
sure.
to like get it more interested. But I didn't have to watch it the whole time.
Oh, nice.
Which was nice.
Nice.
Like I just knew what was going on.
For sure. Oh, that's nice. That is always lovely to have. So anime for next week. Oh, I will say, just to let everybody know, Bad Strategy, who is of course a host or was a host, he is not going to be joining us anymore. He is working on his own stuff. He's a lovely human being, and he just needed to move on, and he's working on some games and programming and stuff like that. So he will not be joining us as the third host of the show anymore. I guess for the foreseeable future, or for the time being anyways, Panda's going to be joining us, helping us out and chatting about anime with us. But maybe in the future, Bad Strategy will come on and grace us with his talk of deep themes and messaging and random
cooking.
asides with cooking, which I miss.
I miss this.
Delightful.
He makes really good food.
He makes really good food. Yeah, which is great because I still
I
get
need
to eat the
come over
food.
now. I really want to come over and eat.
I want to hire him.
We're
I
making-
literally want to hire him.
We're making chicken parmesan tomorrow. Okay. Anyways,
Time's dinner. If I leave now,
you might make it.
I might make
Uh-huh.
it. It's only a 7-hour drive.
It's only a 7-hour drive. Just, it'll be fine. So, that being said, perhaps sometime in the future we'll see him on the show. What are we going to watch for next time? Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
What is your scratch off list?
Oh, so this is, I don't have the light on, but this is an anime scratch off list that I got like at the first of the year, and it finally got in recently. Yesterday? Was it yesterday?
I think
Yeah,
it
I
was
finally got it
yesterday.
in the mail yesterday. I got it like January 1st.
There's a lot of good ones on there.
Yeah, it has some misprints. I don't know.
Okay, here's my question. Ready?
Yes.
I just pulled up a random list of the best anime ever. Noah has the
Okay.
other list.
That's what this is. It's like
okay.
a top 100 anime.
Oh God, I'm gonna butcher the heck out of this.
I'm ready. I'll fix it.
Rurouni Kenshin? Trust and Betrayal?
Kenshin.
Say again?
He goes already.
If it was in German, it would have been flawless.
Rurouni Kenshin? Yeah. Mm.
Called Trust and Betrayal. What's it about?
Rurouni Kenshin. So there's a guy named Rurouni Kenshin, and he has a backward sword, and he wields it. It's another older, kind of like Inuyasha / Fushigi Yuugi. No, it's kind of like Samurai Shampoo-ish, I think.
I liked Samurai Shampoo.
Kenshin was great.
Kenshin was great, Sam
Yeah,
said.
Kenshin is good. It's another older one. He used to be like a warrior samurai.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one too.
Well,
So I'm totally down for that.
On this list, it's right behind Cowboy Bebop and Steins Gate, so it's got to
totally
be pretty
up there.
good.
Yeah.
And it's above Bakano. So.
Above.
I'm on the nostalgia train. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I love it. All right, so go
I've
ahead.
been meaning to, and then I can tell you some fun facts.
Rurouni
Oh my
Kenshin.
God! Pronounce that. Say it again.
Rurouni Kenshin.
Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin.
There you go.
You have to trill.
Perfect.
You have to trill your R's. That's why.
Yeah.
I
Rurouni Kenshin.
So
do that. I literally can't trill.
you do it in Mediterranean way. Rurouni Kenshin. So, okay, we're going to be looking at Rurouni Kenshin on the 27th of February. That's going to be when we're going to do it. So we'll say that for a minute, though. Man, Helen, did you have something else you wanted to say? I thought, did you?
No, I was just happy.
It wasn't me. I was just happy. That's all. You're so agreeable. You're so agreeable, Mandy.
I try.
I mean, you don't have
I try hard.
All right. Well, that sounds good. We'll just do one more random pass. Any final thoughts on today? Our show that we watched, Fushigi or Rurouni Kenshin? Anything? Going once? Going twice? Oh, we got one.
Can I say? No, hang on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, fun fact.
Okay.
So I have a favorite Japanese band named One OK Rock. I'm promoting them, guys. Listen to them.
Nice.
They're amazing. Oh my gosh. They did the live action Japanese movie of Rurouni Kenshin. They did a song in it. I think at the beginning theme song or
It
something.
all ties in, man.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with everything Japan, so it doesn't help. It does help. It does help.
I want to move there.
Me too. Let's go.
Let's go. We'll go buy a house.
Thank you.
You guys
the
do
farm.
that. I'm gonna live in America.
Do that.
Then I'll just watch anime.
I want to live the anime. Come on.
Okay, so.
As long as it's not.
Okay,
as long as it's not made in Abyss. I don't want to live that world. It's terrifying.
I
Okay.
mean, it's so cool.
It is really cool and it's beautiful. All right, Rurouni Kenshin, 27th on Saturday. That's 2 weeks from now. Join us then. We'll be talking about it, having a good time. Thanks for everybody for coming and watching. Thanks, Panda. Thanks, Helen. We will see everybody later. Bye bye. If I can make it not work.
Good show, guys. That was fun.
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh, put it down. Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Besides